Welcome to MyCounselor.Online. I'm Cassie, and today one of our awesome counselors is going to answer your questions. So let's go find out what my counselor says.
Josh Spurlock here with MyCounselor.Online, answering a question from Leah on how do you deal with not getting attention from Christian guys? I'm a pretty 29-year-old. Non-Christians hit on me all the time, but Christian guys ignore me. Well, Leah, I feel for you. It's hard being single, desiring the attention and affection of a relationship and having that longing and not having that during this season. And so that's a tough thing, and it's a really normal thing to be experiencing. And trying to sort through how do I deal with the current season that I am, and why am I experiencing the things that I'm going through in terms of relationships and guys and the opposite sex are tough questions to figure out the answers to. So first, let's talk about dealing with the not getting of attention. There is a healthy kind of sadness or disappointment in not having the attention from the opposite sex that we desire. That longing for that, wanting that is a very normal thing that God has wired into us and that we have a desire for. So there's not anything wrong or weird about that. But sometimes the longing can go beyond the normal desire to be found attractive and desirable, and the desire to be in an intimate relationship. And it can be about wounds that we have in our life where the needing of approval and affirmation and acceptance from the opposite sex is something that is overly important to us for our sense of identity and being good enough and being worthy. And we can really seek after that and try to fill a void that's in our life around that need for attachment and acceptance and a sense of worthiness through the attention and validation that comes from the opposite sex. And so part of dealing with the pain that you experience from not having that attention may be about understanding some of the underlying wounds that really intensify that for you and make it feel unbearable. That as opposed to a sadness that you have, a longing that you have, but it doesn't keep you from thriving and enjoying life to the fullest in the present as God is enabling you to do so. So you may want to work with a counselor and take a look at some of the wounds that are part of your life experience that are intensifying the pain of that situation so that you can better deal with it and not have it control you in ways that rob your peace, rob your joy, and perhaps incline you or create this compulsion to be in relationships or engage in relationship dynamics that are really unhealthy and not good for you, compelled out of this longing and void that you're trying to fill with that. So that would be the first piece that I would communicate. Another piece that is worth noting and thinking about the attention that you receive from non-Christian guys versus the attention that you receive from Christian guys. One possible component to that is the discomfort that and angst that is created from you being such a beautiful woman. That sometimes for Christian guys that are trying to manage their own purity, manage their thought life, manage in their dynamics with the opposite sex so that it would be healthy, can cause some awkwardness for them when they are seeing, engaging, interacting with a beautiful girl like yourself. And so it may be that the fact that you're so beautiful actually creates an awkwardness for them in trying to figure out, how do I manage my own emotions? How do I manage my own thoughts? How do I manage my interactions so that I can engage this girl as a sister in all purity in my heart and mind? And so sometimes that internal struggle that maybe isn't present there for the non-Christian guys that hit on you, who are really okay with exploiting you for their own sexual gratification, their own thoughts, and kind of using you in that way, that's not a conviction or an issue for them. And so they just head on, pursue in order to try to connect with you sexually for their own gratification. So there's not a conflict there for them in managing that. And so that could be part of why it is that you don't have the engagement or attention of the non-Christian guys. So another piece to consider, think about, is maybe adjusting the relationship expectations in pursuing a healthy Christian relationship, as opposed to maybe a non-Christian cultural normative way of pursuing relationship. One that is really, instead of being just driven out of a sexual attraction for beauty, but one that is growing and develops out of a friendship dynamic. And being able to interact with and engage with the opposite sex with the aim of developing meaningful, rich friendships with these guys that maybe you have some interest in, and allowing the attraction and kind of physical side of that to be something that's secondary and follows out of the friendship, as opposed to being the thing that leads into and initiates the relationship and the basis for evaluating acceptance in the relationship.
Thank you for your question. And if you're watching this and you have a question you'd like one of our counselors to answer, you can submit it using our webpage and then look for the answer in an upcoming edition of our weekly e-newsletter.